Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania was one of the most energetic and crazy rallies you will ever see. Tens of thousands of people, Elon Musk jumping on the stage and encouraging everybody to vote, Trump giving a solid speech, Trump, dancing as he does with his typical MCA dance. And, that rally was simply amazing. It kind of was like a fairy tale because 12 weeks ago, exactly, 12 weeks actually, 12 weeks before the second rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, Trump got shot and a hero died and two people were severely injured. Luckily, the other two folks survived, but Corey couldn't make it. But he died like a hero. He died in a way which will be remembered forever. He died shielding his family and shielding his wife and his daughters. That's remarkable to say the least, and that's an example of true masculinity and true excellence. That's excellence. That's a person you should look up to, a firefighter, a freedom fighter, a hero who sadly isn't with us anymore. Other than that, guys, we have to discuss the debate season which came to an end with the vice presidential debate between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz. J.D. Vance destroyed Tim Walz, but we will do a recap and we'll talk about which side was favored by the debates the most. We will talk about that. I have an opinion, I have my opinion. I mean, there have been 3 debates. One, we could say was useless, but I will actually counter-argue that claim, and I will argue that was the most important debate, and we will go down the rabbit hole. Before we do so, I always invite you to subscribe. If you enjoy this show, this is hopefully gonna become a big show in the world, I hope it's gonna become a big show, and I hope it will, and I know it will. And guys, I just ask you to subscribe and share the video with as many people Tell everybody that the show is back, and tell everybody that this election cycle, these last 28 days, these last 4 weeks of the election on this channel will be second to none, guys. Second to none. I'm thinking about live streaming election night. And you don't want to miss that. Especially if you are American. You don't want to miss that. So subscribe and help us. I really thank all of you. And now let's jump into the episode. Enjoy it. So clearly what made this rally in Pennsylvania special were the circumstances that led to the rally itself. As you know, on July the 13th, the first rally Trump did in Butler, Pennsylvania, an assassin, because in the end he managed to kill a person, he didn't kill the target, because the target was clearly Trump, but he killed Corey, who will forever be remembered as a hero, and that's, what he deserves, because what he did on that day was truly masculine excellence. That was masculine excellence. And Corey basically shielded and jumped on his wife and his daughters to protect them, and what he did was simply amazing, and he will forever be remembered for that as a hero. That being said, of course, may God bless Corey and his family and everybody, because truly what they had to go through was, and I think that they're still going through this, but now a little bit less than 3 months ago, what they had to go through was inhuman, really inhuman, and simply unjustified. And it's so sad that political polarization and political violence leads to so horrendous things. But unfortunately, the world is filled with bad things, but it is also filled with good things, and we have to cherish the latter ones, because if we don't do that, and if we start only thinking about the bad things, we're gonna end up in a rabbit hole which you cannot escape from. It's as simple as it gets. But regardless of that, what happened on July the 13th was what made this rally historic. Trump basically dancing on his grave, like basically and literally, because the guy was dancing on stage like he always does. And that was simply badass, guys. What I like the most about Trump is how badass he is. Let's just go straight to the point. The guy gets shot 3 months ago, and he dances on his grave. He goes back to Butler, Pennsylvania, and he dances. He doesn't care. Like, I'm gonna sound rude now, I'm gonna curse, but he doesn't give a fuck, which is what I like about Trump. if there is something I like about him, is the fact that he doesn't care. He has said things on stage which nobody ever had the courage to say before he said them. It's just amazing. And I hope that it will be even more badass as time goes on. Unfortunately, I will be honest with you, the old Trump, the Trump in the first election cycle in 2016 and 2015 was more badass than he is now. Rosie O'Donnell.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
You would be in jail.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
George Bush and the war in Iraq.
Obviously, the war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake, all right? Now, you can take it any way you want, and it took Jeb Bush, if you remember at the beginning of his announcement, when he announced for president, took him 5 days. He went back. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. Took him 5 days before his people told him what to say, and he ultimately said it was a mistake. The war in Iraq, we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives. We don't even have it. Iran is taking over Iraq with the second largest oil reserves in the world. Obviously, it was a mistake.
So
George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East. You do whatever you want. You call it whatever you want. I want to tell you, they lied.
Okay.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
All right.
Like, that Trump was simply nuts. I remember that, and that was crazy. You know, the Rosie O'Donnell clip still remains one of the best clips of the internet. And it's just amazing. And seeing Trump roast to Rosie, it's just amazing. I would pay thousands to watch a 1 hour interview, you know, or a 1 hour debate. Let's think of this, between Trump and Rosie O'Donnell, moderated by Megyn Kelly. Like, it's a dream. Like, it would be amazing. It would be exhilarating to see that happen. Like, it would be amazing. You know, I hope that this happens, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But that would be really fun, to say the least. Like, the memes that would come out of that thing would be amazing. Like, something crazy, something you wouldn't even understand. It would be legendary, really crazy stuff. But jokes aside, I mean, that would be great, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Let's go back to the rally. So the assassination attempt on Trump's life and the assassination of Corey and the very sad things which happened on that day certainly were what in the end made this event so historic and so legendary. And there is no doubt about it. I don't think there is any doubt about it. But now let's go to the rally. I mean, because also the rally was great. Elon Musk's presence. Let's start by that. Let's start by talking about Elon Musk. The fact that Elon was there, the fact that, you know, he was there and he gave a speech was amazing. It was truly amazing. It was truly amazing to see Elon join Trump. And honestly, the team which Trump has formed with Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., and all the other folks out there is a very good team. Like, it is a very good team. I honestly am a fan of Tulsi Gabbard. Now, regardless of her policies, I will consider myself a political commentator because I'm mainly talking about politics, American politics, and some other things. But I do that in a less detailed way, if that makes sense. I'm a different type of political commentator. I wouldn't classify myself as the typical political commentator. Like, I'm not Ben Shapiro. I hold different views from him. That's another thing, but he's a more detailed guy, you know? We could say that. I'm different from Ben Shapiro. He's better than I am. He's got 7 million subscribers. As long as I don't have as many subscribers as he has, I won't compare myself with him. But I'm just saying he's kind of like the typical and old school political commentator. I'm not like that. It's just more my gut feeling, all that stuff. So I'm different. But I hope you will like me. And I hope you like me. But Elon Musk's speech was great. And he did what he had to do. And I think that he is doing what Trump should do more, even though he's doing this. I don't think that Trump should try to appeal to new voters. I don't think he should, because he won't win over anybody. Because Trump has been in the game of politics for 10 years. His ideas have stayed the same. His policies have stayed the same. That's not changed. That hasn't changed. So he won't win over anybody. Let's just be real. He's not going to win over some Democrats who feel disenfranchised. I think that Kamala has a bigger possibility. I think that Kamala can win over more people than Trump can in this moment. What Trump can do is fire up his base and the people who support him, to make them motivated, to make them eager to vote. That's what he can do. So he should focus on that, and that's what Musk did. He was like, guys, go out and vote, register to vote. This election is crucial. It will count down to hundreds, thousands of votes. Vote. And voting has closed in Georgia and Arizona, I think. Voter registration has closed in those two states, unless I'm mistaken, or North Carolina. It was Georgia and another one. I think it was Arizona, but it might have been North Carolina instead of Arizona, but I'm pretty sure about Georgia. I'm going to correct this one if I am wrong. But Musk really sent the right message there. Vote, 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 fight, fight, fight. Succinct speech, and I'll be honest, I don't think Elon Musk is a great public speaker. Like, he stutters, and I think that's not because he can't speak, and that's not because he's not capable of doing that. That's because he's just too fast. His brain is too fast. He's thinking about too many things. And he can't convert all of those thoughts and all of those things he'd like to say into sentences within those milliseconds. So he's like a robot, basically. There are guys, including me probably, who stutter because they aren't good at speaking, not because they have too much thoughts in the way Elon does. So that's what I want to say about Elon. But his speech was great, I think. And Trump has to motivate his base. That's what he has to do to win. He has to make sure that every single one is eager to vote. And like, he should go like, guys, we have to vote. We have to save this country. We have to win this thing. Go out and vote. Go out and vote. Don't be complicit or complacent. I think the second one is better, because complicit means another thing. Like, don't comply. Let's use the verb because it's easier. Don't comply. That's what Trump should do, I think. So, I'm going to mention this thing, Trump's team. Guys, Trump's team is something very exciting, I think. I think that this team with Tulsi Gabbard, I think that this team with Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, and also the folks I like Vivek, all these guys, it's a very good thing. And this union team, which is fighting together to throw Kamala out of office, that's their goal. I think it's very great, and I think it's gonna I think that it has kinda, encouraged and inspired some more people to vote for Trump. So his transition team, however he's calling it, I think it is great, because you have two former Democrats, and he has two guys who know how the machine works, which is the establishment. I'm referring to the establishment. I think Trump is kind of anti-establishment. He's not as anti-establishment as he used to be. I think that. Now he's a little bit more pro-establishment in the way that I believe that, donors and all those people who have been donating money to him. In 2015, he was like, I don't want your money. It's going to be founded by me and me only. But now it has changed a little bit for XYZ reasons. But his team is very great. And, this team has actually helped him, and it has been helping him. I think so, and it will help him in the action. If he hadn't had this team, he wouldn't have had as many votes as he will have. Kind of mixed fences there, but, it doesn't matter. Then last thing about this rally. Will this rally boost his chances in Pennsylvania? So, I don't think it will have a big impact. in terms of voters. I don't think it will. I don't think the debates will have some impact. This rally will have less impact than the debate. There is no doubt about it. The debates will have more impact than the rally, as much as I would like this rally to have, some impact on Pennsylvania. But I think that Butler, after the assassination of President Trump, was gonna vote overwhelmingly for Trump. Now it's gonna be even more overwhelmingly. So it might have some sort of impact, but I don't think it is an impact which will go on for the following 27, 28 days. So I don't think it's gonna have that much of an impact, but his chances on Poly market went up drastically. Like there was a 3 or 4% boost from 1 minute to the other minute. So I don't think it will have a lot of impact. I think that after the debate, I think that the first 2 or 3 weeks after the debate, the polls were showing an improvement on Harris' side. Now things have more or less gone back to where they were before the debate, which was Trump kind of, gaining back some support after the Kamala honeymoon, which has come to an end now, of course. But then there was the debate which boosted Kamala's chances, but now the debate's boost has come to an end. That's what I believe. Talking about debates, guys, we have to talk about the 2024 debate season. We had 3 debates in total, and we had the presidential debate between former Democratic nominee and more than former Democratic nominee. Biden at the time was the presumptive Democratic nominee, and it was a debate between Biden and Trump. And that debate has been the most important debate. And maybe some of you will disagree because they're going to be like, well, Biden is not in the race anymore, so why is that the most important debate, in your opinion? I'll tell you why. If that debate had been done and scheduled in September, like every other presidential debate, Trump would have had a higher chance of winning. And the Democrats would have found themselves in a position where they would have literally had a corpse as their nominee, and if the Democrat had been in that position, I don't know if they would have, thrown Biden out in September. So that debate was the most important debate for the Democrats, especially because if Biden had stayed in the race, this election would have looked like the 2008 election, but the landslide would have been in favor of Republicans, not Democrats. So Trump would have gotten maybe 360, 350, 380 points. It would have gone close to 400 points. And Trump is divisive. Like, he's not like Obama, which regardless of whether you like Obama or Trump more, Obama was trying to be the unifier. Trump has never been that figure. Trump has always been the guy who has his base, and if his base is more motivated and votes, he wins. He can win. On the other hand, if they don't, he's screwed, because he doesn't appeal to as many moderates as the other side, probably. I think I would say that. So that loss would have been brutal for the Democrats, but the debate saved them. And I'm starting to think that the Democrats, the Democratic Party, decided to test Biden so early in order to have an option. That's what they did. So they literally threw Biden under the bus, of course, and they tried to test him. I will be honest. I was very well aware of the Biden decline. I wasn't blind, but I didn't expect Biden to crumble the way he did. I expected that maybe he wasn't on drugs. I expected him to be on drugs, like the speech he gave at the State of the Union. Like, he was fired up in that speech. It was day and night compared to the other speeches. In the other speeches, he's like mumbling about nonsense. And in the State of the Union, it was fired up. The difference was huge. I expect to see that kind of Biden to some degree. But it wasn't the case. It wasn't the case, and the Biden we saw in the debate was the worst Biden we've ever seen. So that debate was very important because it saved the Democrats. It literally saved the Democrats. I don't think there is a doubt about it. If that debate hadn't been done so early, and the presidential debate had been done, as always, in September, 10 September, which is pretty early because usually debates are, held and hosted in late September, start of October. So it was still early, but if the debate had been done at the beginning of September, I don't know if the Democrats would have had time to replace Biden, to be honest. So that debate saved the Democrats. The second debate helped Harris. Why? Because I even talked about this, but that debate has been very important because in that debate, Harris had to prove that she was presidential and that she was, worth and that she deserved to be a presidential candidate. Because the vibe, and I'm talking about this person who's not American, was that yes, Harris is running her campaign well. She's being strategic. She's being very strategic. She's doing that very well, and she's doing a great job at that. However, she's not giving interviews. Is she prepared? That was kind of what people were thinking. And in that debate, Harris proved she is presidential. She proved that. I'm honest. She proved that, and she won the debate. So that debate helped the Democrats. I'm going to say something which might sound strange to some degree and to a part of the audience, but I think that the most important debates has still been the one in June. And the best debates for the Democrats. Not for Biden. Biden is a person. I'm talking about the Democratic Party. The best debate for the Democratic Party has been the one in June. Because if that debate didn't exist, Biden would still be here and he would lose in a train wreck. So that debate has clearly been the most important ones for Democrats, I think. Then we have the last debate, which, if weren't the last, it would be useless. Let's be honest. Because the VP debate doesn't have an impact. The presidential debate doesn't have a very big impact. Like, this season's debates are the biggest impact debates I've ever had upon an election. But usually debates don't even have as much influence as they are having now, as they had in this election. And let alone the vice presidential debate. Like, nobody cares about the vice presidential debate. But this vice presidential debate is a little bit more important than in the last elections, because it was the last debate of the season. So that's the last memory people have of debates. Like, okay, the last debate I remember is the one between Vance and Tim Walz. In this case, I think it was the opposite. I think that the vibe around Walz was always that he can be the president, he can replace Kamala. On the other hand, with Vance, I think that the vibe around Vance was always, is this guy, great? Can he be the president if something bad, heaven forbid, were to happen to Trump? Can he be the vice president? Because people were thinking, like, this guy has been pretty useless now. What has he done? On the other hand, he's shown that he's a great debater. And as soon as Trump picked Vance, I thought, well, this doesn't look like the best choice, but if there is something in which Vance will be helpful in, it's going to be debates. I was like, I think that Vance will obliterate whoever Harris picks to debate him. Because Vance is a very great debater and he's a very eloquent speaker. He never started in 1 hour and a half. Almost. And this is, mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. So the vice presidential debate doesn't count a lot. But this vice presidential debate has been more important than the other ones. Will it have an effect on the election? No. Not a big one. And overall, guys, my opinion about the debates is this. I think that the debates were far more helpful to the Democratic Party than the Republican Party. And you would say, well, Trump obliterated Biden, Vance obliterated Walz, and Harris won without obliterating Trump. You might say that. But I would counter-argue, and I would say, it is true. Debates-wise, it's 2-1, Republicans. But you have to understand that the debate between Biden and Trump has been what made the race competitive. If that debate didn't exist, Trump would be probably looking at a 360 to 170 win in the Electoral College. That's not hyperbolic. Trump was probably going to flip Virginia, Minnesota, win all the swing states, win New Hampshire, and who knows what else. So Trump, maybe Oregon, he could have won that state too, maybe. So Trump would have won in a landslide. But luckily for the Democrats, the debate existed. Now, the most impactful debate on the race has clearly been the Biden-Trump one, in my opinion. But if we talk about the high-risk Trump race, of course, the presidential one was more impactful because the presidential debates are more impactful than the vice presidential debates. There are going to be no more debates. I think there's going to be no more debate. And there is a very specific reason for that. I think that Harris wants a debate and she needs it more than Trump. I'll tell you why. The reason is very simple, I think. The reasons behind that are very simple. As much as Harris won, her increase after the debate has now disappeared. Now the race is in a similar position and in a similar state of September, before the debate, with Trump coming back and maybe being slightly ahead. Harris needs to debate more, and that's the reason why she's been doing interviews lately. She's been doing some interviews because I think that she feels and knows that she's still kind of behind. She wouldn't be so eager to go into the lion's den if she wasn't behind. Do you understand my logic? Do you understand my train of thought? If Harris weren't behind, or at least tied, she wouldn't do interviews because that's her weakness. She's not good at interviews. She's good at debating, but she's not good at interviews. We have seen that. Her interviews are train wrecks. Like the interview she did with Call Her Daddy. 4K dislikes and 4K likes and 9.3K dislikes. That's a ratio that is disastrous. And that video didn't have as many views as she maybe hoped. She's not very good at interviews. She's good at debating, but not at interviews. And she has shown that she's not good at interviews with the interviews she did, with the interviews she's been doing. They are not very great. And Trump is better at interviews than Harris. But Harris has been great at debating. She's shown that. There is no doubt about it. How is the election looking? That's the final question of the day. So, I think that we will see surprises in the last 2 weeks of the election. Guys, I'm a rookie in this world. I'm an amateur. It's the first election I've been following closely. So I don't know much about this election, to be fair with you. And I don't know much about American politics. So this is just my gut feeling. This is just what I'm feeling when I see the vibe and the vibes of the people, of the predictors. And my prediction for the election, I've said it numerous times. I don't feel, my gut feeling, something tells me that Trump is not going to win for one reason or the other. I have called these two assassination attempts. I think that former President Donald J. Trump will be assassinated. And this sounds crazy, but this is an idea I have.
Told, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
I mean, I was sure that they were going to try to assassinate Trump, and this is not the first assassination attempt. And I'm saying this right now.
Time in as many months, Donald Trump has been the target of an attempted assassination.
I've done that sometimes, and the clips are there, and go watch my short where I predicted, because I was very accurate in that. I have predicted, some things. I predicted Trump's assassination attempts. I predicted the outcomes of the debates. I didn't make videos about it, but my feeling always was that, I always felt, okay, Trump is going to win the debate because Biden is a corpse. I didn't expect Biden to crumble as much. I didn't expect Biden to fall off and fall apart as much as I did, but I expected Trump to win nonetheless. I expected Kamala to win, and I expected Vance to win. For XYZ reasons. But this election comes down to few votes. It comes down to very few votes. And my gut feeling is that Kamala is going to win. It's just my feeling. I feel like Trump is not going to get back in the White House. And I want to make two things clear. First and foremost, as a foreigner, I hope Trump wins. And I'm cheering for him because I like him more than Kamala. Again, I'm not an expert in politics. It's just me preferring him for some reasons, because he's strong on immigration and because he believes in patriotism, and I'm against Harris because she's allowed borders to be open and because she's pushing the woke mind virus and all that garbage. She's literally said on camera, you have to be more woke. And being woke is great, and that is, I think, horrendous. Because wokeness equals destruction of civilization. If everybody were woke, and this is not misogyny, this is not transphobia, this is truth. If everybody were woke, the world would be over within a century. Because people wouldn't be able to reproduce more. Because people who are woke, people who are trans can't reproduce. Probably, if they have had some sort of gender affirming care, surgery, all of that thing, they may not be able to reproduce. Gays, by themselves, with no artificial, with no artificial songs, let's say it in that way, they cannot make children by themselves. First of all, because two men can get pregnant. I know this makes you go to jail in 2024, but I don't care. Two men can't get pregnant. There are only two genders. I've said it out loud. Go after me. Don't care. But, this whole woke mind virus is horrible. And the fact that Harris supports it, she doesn't support it to that extent. But her policies in that regard are bad. That's what I think. That's my idea. Maybe people disagree with me. But I'm not against gays and lesbians. I could care less. You can be gay, you can be lesbian. I've got gay friends. I've got a gay friend. I don't call him faggot. I don't do that. I don't insult people and call them faggots on the streets. I don't do that. Because that's just childish and that is disrespectful. So, I don't buy to that. But I think that Harris is radical, and their policies, at least before they were radical. Now she's flip-flopped on every issue. But an independent journal or somebody like said out of the 15 candidates for the nomination in the 2020 primaries, out of those 15 folks, she was the most liberal. She was the most radical. She was the most left-leaning. And that's true, I think. I think that she's very left-leaning, and I think she's too liberal, guys. Too liberal. Like, out of Trump and Kamala, who's more radical? I would say Kamala. I would say her. I don't know if you agree or disagree with this. But regardless of that, guys, let's go back to the debates for a while, and then let's finish this video off by talking about how I think the election is looking right now. So, in the debates and in general in their campaigns, let's reflect upon the campaigns and debates. Let's reflect upon those as a whole. I think that Kamala wants to send the message that the future is bright, and that, you know, she's like, she wants to move forward. Move forward. She doesn't want to go backwards. She wants to go forward. She's not going back. That's the whole slogan and the theme of her campaign. On the other hand, Trump kind of wants to do the opposite to some degree. He wants to say, listen, look at how the prices were great before and now they're trash. We have to get these people out of office. And those are, of course, two completely different narratives. We would see which one is the winning one. But I think that Harris has been campaigning better than Trump. Trump could campaign better. Trump has been investing less money than Kamala. Like Kamala 3x's the money that Trump has been investing in the campaign. So Kamala's campaign is going better. And despite that, I would say that at the moment, it's 50-50. At the moment, it kind of feels like Trump is slightly ahead. So at the moment, I think that Trump has got something, that 1% more. That's my gut feeling. It is not based upon data. It is based upon my gut feeling. So don't take as, undisputable truth. It's just an opinion I have. But it looks like to me Trump is kind of ahead to some degree. That's my gut feeling. I don't know how this election is going to play out. But now I feel like Trump is ahead. He's a little bit ahead. And I hope Trump wins, guys. I will finish this video by saying I hope he wins. I prefer him, but I try to be as unbiased as possible when I judge the debates, when I judge the performances. And maybe sometimes I come across as biased, but I don't think I'm doing a very bad job at certain things. I could do better, I could do things better, but I don't think I'm doing it. I'm being a disaster. Now, guys, thank you very much for watching this video and, all the support. I'm gonna see you in the next days with new videos, and let me know your thoughts on the 2024 election, on the Trump Pennsylvania rally, and let me know what do you think about how the election is looking and the debates and everything. I thank you for the support, and I will see you in the next days with new videos. Thank you very much, everybody. I love you all, and I can't wait to have you back on my show.